Hi, welcome back to part 2 in the mini video series on self-doubt. Today we're talking about where self-doubt comes from. And here's what I want you to consider before we do that. Doubt and trust cannot coexist, right? You cannot trust someone if you doubt them. You cannot doubt someone if you trust them. The two are mutually exclusive. This is what our whole jury system is based on, right? Is beyond a reasonable doubt. So doesn't necessarily mean you trust the person, but really the two cannot coexist. So if you think about it from that perspective, at any given moment, any choice that you have could either feed self-trust or it could feed self-doubt. Okay, not any choice, right? If you're like, should I upsize and get the supersized fries or not? That actually could impact your self-trust or your self-doubt. For example, if you made a commitment to yourself not to eat fast food or to eat healthier or something like that. But in any case, consider that when you're making decisions about trusting yourself, you're either feeding the trust or you're feeding the doubt. Okay, so today we're going to talk about where self-doubt comes from. And basically, it can come from one of three places. It's either super, super old, like it's from a past life, you brought it in with you. Or it's from the current life, but it's from a distant past. Like it's something that happened when you were a kid. It happened like 20, 40, 50 years ago. Okay, it happened a long time ago. If you're 14 and it happened 10 years ago, we'll count that. Okay. Or it came from the current lifetime, but it was just triggered or activated due to a recent unfortunate event. Okay, so here's 3 examples. So if it's something from a past life, odds are, well, frankly, if you want to figure out where it came from, you could just use truth testing, right? Grab a copy of Pendulum Mojo or check out my other videos on truth testing. But here's some sort of symptoms you can look for. If you've had it your whole life, like you can remember doubting yourself as a kid or even doubting yourself around certain things, and you can't pinpoint a specific thing that happened in childhood, like, well, once such and such happened, I stopped trusting myself or I started to question myself. If you can't pinpoint an incident and it goes as far back as you can remember, it's probably from a past life, okay? And if you can remember an incident from when you were a kid, then that would be from this life in the distant past, obviously, right? But sometimes self-doubt comes up, like something unfortunate happens. Maybe you make a bad choice. Maybe you marry the wrong person, or maybe you got pregnant too young, or maybe you screwed up and you got fired from a perfectly good job. Maybe you started a business and it tanked, like stanky tanked. It was so bad, right? So you made some kind of choice and it turned out to be colossally the wrong choice. Sometimes that starts a spiral, like a downward spiral of self-doubt, because you made a bad decision, which leads to another bad decision, which leads to another bad decision. And next thing you know, you are deep in the bowels of self-doubt, to use a gross expression. Okay. So those are your 3 types, okay? And in the next installment, we're going to look at some ways to build self-trust. So I'll see you there.